Can I get a little compliment for my makeup?
Nope.
Thank you so much. What's up, my niggas? Welcome back to this wonderful channel. I remember back then, there was an anime YouTube channel who recommended Jujutsu Kaisen. And that was during the time where I read a lot of manga, like Blue Lock, Tokyo Revengers, Blue Period, and all this type of stuff. But as soon as the anime came out and I saw all the hype, something in me didn't want to watch it anymore. Jujutsu Kaisen was still the same, you know, nothing changed about the story or the characters, but the fact that it was popular now was what turned me off. And this is actually such a crazy concept if you think about it, right? I think people nowadays, especially on social media, they misunderstand what individuality is. People nowadays think that being an individual means that you have to dislike everything that's mainstream and you have to be different, and then this whole inner battle of, oh my god, please perceive me as different, I'm so different from the mainstream. They literally only allow themselves to like underrated things and ban themselves from like mainstream stuff. And the most ironic thing of it all is they all end up liking the same niche media. Back then people thought they were so different for liking Nana or Berserk, and now look at this, bro. Literally the most mainstream underrated animes they are. This whole underground niche thing literally became the new mainstream. I have mangas that are super underrated that nobody knows. Like, who the fuck here knows Hell Dogs? Who the fuck here read Usugoi? Yeah, nobody. But at the same time, I have mangas that I love, like Black Clover or JoJo's, that are super duper mainstream. You need to understand that you are not more unique, or you're not more of an individual just because you like underrated things. I'd argue that having a mix of both is even better because it feels more real. With all the stuff going around, if I saw a person being like, oh, I only like this, and this, I'd be like, seems kind of forced. But if you tell me that, oh, I like this underrated thing, but I also like this mainstream thing, it feels more real because that's what we humans are. We are a mixture of everything. We're not just one freaking thing. Humans, we are hypocrites. We are ever-changing people. You know, I believe that we are not static. We literally contradict ourselves every freaking time. I know that I do a lot. I'm in a place where I know, yeah, I do contradict myself, and I do change my opinion a lot based on the information that I get or don't. I'm not a static person, and you are neither. I love Vinland Saga, but I also love Prison School. These enemies couldn't be more different. And I like that about myself. I like that I am limitless. I am not bound to one aesthetic or one thing. Last time I said that one of my favorite games were Persona 4 Golden, Final Fantasy 7, The World Ends With You. And there was deadass someone in the comments telling me that my favorite games weren't valid because they're mainstream, and the only valid thing is The World Ends With You because it's niche.
Oh, brother.
Bro, since when is an interest only valid if no one else knows about it? Apparently since a very long time ago. Oh, that was such a good segue. Let's begin, guys. I'm gonna keep this part short because recently I started laughing about like commentary YouTubers who make a topic on, you know, Minecraft and then going back to 1700 something. The Farmer's Place. Pierre Bourdieu, I don't know how you spell his name, is a French philosopher from the 20th century who talked about class, society, and how people express their status beyond just money. One of his most famous ideas is called cultural capital, and to keep it short, people don't just show their status through their money, they show it through education, books, interest, taste, art. But for us in this video, the most relevant part is objective capital. The music you listen to, the books you read, the clothes you wear, they're all a way to virtual signal to the people, hey, I'm better than you. Hey, I am this certain thing, and you're not. I'm different, I'm educated, I'm above you. Historically speaking, certain activities, you know, like going to the opera or horse riding, were activities that were only reserved for people with higher education or higher class. So obviously, if you went to these gatherings, you would be seen as someone smart, sophisticated, someone of higher class. Collecting paintings wasn't just a hobby to appreciate art, it was also a way to show status. If you owned that season 25 Michelangelo, my nigga, that was a flex. If you could distinct yourself from the masses, that was social capital. A modern example would be brand clothes. You know, people who still buy Gucci in 2025. Most people don't buy brand clothes because they have legitimately better quality or anything like that. They just buy it to distinct themselves from broke niggas like you and me. But off camera, bro, who the fuck still wears Gucci and stuff like this? I am so glad this hypebeast era is over, bro. I was genuinely walking around with fake Off-White, fake Puma, and fake Ralph Lauren. It was too much. And that's freaking corny, bro. Every time I see someone walking around with like Gucci in their shirt, that shit is fake anyways, who cares? In a time of consumerism, social capital has watered down to what you consume basically. Niche preferences serve the same function. You know, what music you listen to, what movies you watch, liking indie films, liking obscure movies. These are all ways to communicate exclusivity, that you belong in a group that has higher social tier. But we have to be fair and differentiate between people who just naturally like things that happen to be niche and people who force it. Because liking niche media can make you feel more understood and can definitely give you a sense of identity. But it can be toxic when your entire personality or your entire identity relies on the fact that you have to be different and you have nothing outside of that.
One of the most annoying character flaws that I feel like a lot of people have nowadays is having this weird obsession with being niche. Like, for some weird reason, everybody wants to feel like they're the only person who knows about everything and they're the only people who experience so many different things. Like, if you listen to an artist and you like one of their most popular songs, you'll have some random try to attack you because it's not a song they made in the 3rd grade off their iPod that's an MP3 file that you had to get off the Russian black market. I promise you, it's okay to like popular songs, popular clothes, popular superheroes. I promise you can still like things that other people like. Nobody's gonna call you lame for liking Spider-Man and listening to Drake. Like, everybody feels the need to be a super niche person who likes things that nobody else likes.
Some people generally don't know who they are, and liking niche things becomes, you know, their thing. So instead of just liking something for the love of the game, they force themselves to like niche things because they have to be a person who is different. Because having unique taste is the only thing that makes them feel special. It's basically a shield for their lack of identity. So naturally, when their niche interest gets mainstream, they feel threatened because that thing that made them feel unique isn't unique anymore.
What?
And that's the crazy thing. The media stayed the same. Nothing changed. The same show as before. But their sense of uniqueness is slowly dwelling because slowly everybody starts to like it. And that's why we have these bitter freaking losers on the internet who get so butthurt when they see other people enjoying something that they liked before. Talking about some, oh, name me 5 Nirvana songs. Shut the fuck up. Vagabond isn't as well known as Jujutsu Kaisen. Being in a Vagabond fandom creates a distinction from all those mainstream people who like mainstream Jujutsu Kaisen. And that, on the other hand, makes you feel more special. The reason why we have so many annoying guards and fandoms is because these niggas have been sucking each other's dicks for years, you know, getting off on the idea that mainstream media is so freaking bad and niche media is so good and we're so sophisticated and we're so different. We as humans, we naturally surround ourselves with people who are like-minded, and you can only imagine how their beliefs festered like freaking ants multiplying themselves because they're in freaking echo chambers that keep reinforcing the idea that, oh, we're so unique for liking this niche thing, and all the other people, man, they're so mainstream, they're so boring. But sadly, for them, not for me, these people are mostly just insecure. Behind that big superiority complex are mostly just people who, you know, don't feel that confident in other areas in their lives. And yes, I'm saying that they're losers. Some people got no motion, no aura, nothing to show for. And honestly, to become a freaking snobber like that, you don't need any of that. Think about it. You don't need money, you don't need knowledge, you don't need any type of skill to sit on your freaking keyboard like a keyboard warrior and call mainstream media mid and act like your underground media makes you more intelligent than everybody else. It's a low risk, high reward ass hobby. And I understand why people get hooked on the idea of being unique so much, because this is how they get their self-worth.
Then if they do find something niche that they like, they try to gatekeep it from everybody else just to keep that sense of superiority that shouldn't even be there in the first place. Like, it's honestly so stupid. And I feel like so many people do this, especially on social media.
With all that being said, as I said before, there are people who genuinely just like niche media. Take me, for example. I love Hell Dogs, I love Usugoi. Barely anybody knows that. I was reading Tokyo Revengers and Blue Lock and Blue Period Shimatsu no Valkyrie before they even got enemies. And now they're mainstream. Look at me, guys, I'm still alive, okay? I didn't die just because my niche media got mainstream. There are people like me who just happen to like niche media. I remember when my own cousin, he called me out for, oh, you always watch anime that nobody knows. Mind you, I said Stars Align, which granted isn't that popular, but I also said Hellwing Ultimate, which I don't think is that underground. You will quickly recognize a snobber like that when they say things like, oh, this show is better or this show is the best and yours is worse and you're something bad for liking certain shows or something like this. One thing that I always deliberately do when I talk about my favorite animes and mangas is I always tell these people that I personally think this is my favorite. I would never sit here and be like, oh yeah, this is the best and yours is bad and whatever. No, I know that I have my personal taste and that's that. However, I fully believe that Usugoi is one of the best mangas out there. So don't talk to me, don't argue with me. I think that thing is a great piece of fiction and I have evidence, okay? Same thing with Hell Dogs. If I say a piece of fiction is great, it means that it's very, very great. Otherwise, I always say that I like it. A person who's genuine with what they do would acknowledge that taste is subjective. And if these people can accept that and try to argue with you about what's the best, then these people are snobbers. I don't know the correct term for this actually, I just say snobbery. I'm not English, I don't know. If someone's genuinely open about their niche interest, they would encourage others to experience that interest as well. They wouldn't shut them down or like make them feel bad for not knowing it. They would invite them in and greet these people nicely. Like imagine a religious person being like, oh, you're not Christian? Oh my God. That's not good. A good person in this situation would say, oh, you're not Christian? Well, maybe you want to explore the faith and blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? You see the difference? That difference in attitude already tells you a lot about that person. But then I have to ask myself, can we really blame these people? Because we live in a society where people reward not being mainstream. You know, I'm thinking about like TikTok and stuff like this. We live in a society that thinks that when you look too mainstream, not even are, when you look too mainstream, you're boring. Some people who are not solid in their identity take this as a hit, and then they will try to, you know, to not be basic. Then they become different by force, and then you have this whole thing of, oh my gosh, people are so performative nowadays, and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, because you will not let them stay the way they are, so they try to become someone they are not to be accepted. And then you're mad because they're invading your subculture when you were the person who made them feel bad about being mainstream in the first place. Girl. I feel like we're a society, we need to accept that we are just individuals by default. The mere fact that you're alive, we have different experiences, that already makes us an individual. You don't have to have certain interests in pop culture to suddenly be an individual or have individuality. Going against the norm doesn't make you any better than someone who's mainstream. I know people who look mainstream or are mainstream, but they are one of the most interesting people ever. Like they speak multiple languages, they visited multiple countries, they have stories to tell, they have dreams, they have aspirations. And I know people who dress differently and that's it, and do absolutely nothing. But they look cool, and that's why society thinks that they're different and special and whatever. So freaking judgy if you think about it actually. It's all a big contradiction because we want people to be authentic, but if your authenticity happens to be something that I don't accept or happens to be too mainstream, then your authenticity isn't good. If you try to get away from being too mainstream and try to dabble into, you know, a subculture, it accuse you for being performative, which you are, but I mean, what choice did you have? But you get the gist. Here's a test for yourself. I want you to think about the niches media that you know and ask yourself, why do I like this media? For example, me, Hell Docs. I love Hell Docs. Hell Docs talks about one of the biggest pet peeves I have with humans, the way humans contradict their own morals based on who is affected. Does it affect themselves? Does it affect someone that they don't know? Or does it affect someone they actually do know? Based on all these stats, your moral compass can change entirely. Despite that, I love the art and I love the characters and I love their brotherly love they have for each other. This is why I love Hell Docs, for example. Please let me know in the comments because I would love to know if you actually came up with a valid reason for yourself. But if you were sitting here being like, oh, I don't know actually. Think about your dynamic you have with this niche interest. Most people end up very, very bitter like these snobbers because they surround themselves in echo chambers, which is also a form of, you know, confirmation bias, whatever. And to combat confirmation bias, what I recently read, you actively have to confront yourselves with counter arguments to something that you like. That can also reinforce why you like something. By the way, I mentioned Hell Docs so often in this video. I want to make a review about it because it's so good. It's genuinely that good. I want to conclude this video. Having niche taste is fine. It's amazing. It can be a Bereicherung for yourself, for people around you. If you educate those people or invite them to learn more, or just open with your interests, it can be very, very nice for everybody around you. But if you're defensive and dismissive about it, it can slowly turn into a superiority complex that just notes out every genuine appreciation you actually had for this media. My tip for everybody out there is just be yourself. Like things because you like things, not because of what other people might think about you, even if that thing would be positive or be negative. I love anime. I have never watched One Piece, Bleach, or Naruto in my life. Naruto a little bit, but the other stuff I didn't. Some people might think, oh, you're not a real anime fan. I couldn't care less. I don't care about shonen animes, and I don't have to. I don't have to watch The Godfather just because I like movies. I can watch what I want. I have preferences, and I have genres that I like, and that's what makes me an individual. If you want to force yourself to watch things that you don't care about just because you want to be perceived a certain way, go ahead. Couldn't be me. That's why I'm happier than you. Bye-bye. Give this video a thumbs up if you want to see more videos of me, guys. Please. That video didn't even hit 100 views. Yeah, that's very, very sad. But it's fine. That's fine. It's already forgotten. It's fine. See you in the next one, guys. Bye bye.